What's going on, guys? Don't forget, this Monday coming at 6 p.m, the Bloke and Hello Sport collab shirt. We do it one time a year. Here it is. I'm wearing it right now. It drops at 6 p.m. on Monday. Be there, limited supply.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. I'm here with the big fella, Jason Saab. What's going on, brother?
Thanks for having me, brother.
How you been? Obviously, you know, you boys had a relatively good season, made the finals. You had syndesmosis at the end of the year, but how are you feeling after the season?
Yeah, good. I mean, it's a lot to take in, you know, like from all the way back from Vegas. And, you know,
Right, that feels like...
It feels like yesterday. You know what I mean? For me anyway.
Yeah.
But, pre-season, Vegas, back here, and then having a pretty good, I would say, successful year compared to our last few years. And, yeah, man, like I'm just trying to unwind now and, kind of just regulate that emotion of playing rugby league week in, week out. So
that's crazy, bro.
I feel all right, yeah.
You're still 23. That's
24 now.
24 now? Just 24?
Yeah, it's 24 the other day, so I feel like way older than 23, you know what I mean? It feels like 30 for some reason. It's a serious age, bro.
That is true, eh? Like 23 is a bit of a weird cutoff where you go 24, you're almost... Because I feel like when you hit 30, that's also when you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's going to come back quick, man.
I just this year turned 37. Yeah,
shit, sorry.
And that's huge, like, bro. That's wigging me out.
I look 37, but so it's all about how you look and you feel, true, like biologically.
I'm 3 years from 40.
Yeah, it's crazy when you put it that way,
bro. That wigs me out. See, 36, I could cop. Like I'd be like, yeah, 35, 36. You're kind of in that mid range, bro. 37, 3 years from 40. Like, bro, when I was younger, I used to think 40 was like a granddad. Well, I mean, some 40
is old.
Yeah,
40 is not even old.
Not anymore,
no,
but
it's not even old. Like if someone dies at 40, you go, wow, how young?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So there's a bit of perspective.
100%, bro. So, this season for you boys, though, what do you reckon was different? Obviously, you know, Seib's had an extra year to coach, but what I loved about watching you boys this year is you did play a very unique style of footy. What do you reckon was different for you boys heading into this year?
I just thought we'd try to focus a bit more on our strengths this year than trying to handicap other teams of theirs. You know what I mean? Obviously, you still got to work on that, but I think we focused a bit more on ourselves, played to our strengths a bit more, had more of a consistent team. I mean, we had a period there where Tolu was out and Turbo was out, and obviously myself was out earlier in the year. But we just had a pretty consistent game plan the whole year. Didn't change too much, and I just thought this year the squad was just closer as a group than as a footy team, if that makes sense. Like just, you know, as mates and stuff, which has really been built over the last, I mean, since I got there, it was very different. Like it's very segregated, and because people come from out west and people growing up in the northern beaches, it's a bit of a culture shock. So those kind of pods have kind of started to mingle with each other over the last few years, and now like
that's a good point that you don't really, especially like northern beaches, it is quite a different culture. Like
very different, yeah.
If you play for the Doggies, for example, most people are from Sydney, relatively the same, but Northern Beaches is a little bit different.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, in terms of a Sydney team, who's further than us?
I mean, you got the Sharkies, but
which is like the opposite. But then even Cronulla's like backs onto Bankstown and
true. Yeah, you're right. It is. You know what? The Northern Beaches are quite unique in their setup. So it's something actually I haven't even thought about.
Yeah, so very different community culture, all that stuff. But now it's like we've created our own culture at the club now, you know, so it's been good, man. Yeah.
And so this year, heading into the season, first of all, actually take us back to when you found out you're going to Vegas. Were you going, oh, yes.
So it was funny, like I remember the whispers about it back end of last year, like the end of the season, and then my mum was talking about like something on the TV saying you're going to Vegas, whatever. And mum says a lot of things. Like mum's, God love her, she's like
believes every headline.
Yeah. And she'll say like this has happened, and like I'll hear the story and I'll take it with a grain of salt, and I'll just like water it down a bit, and I'll be like, she probably read something like, you know. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then like I don't know, I didn't really believe it was going to happen at first. I was like, that's a bit interesting. And then it became official, and then we won at the teams. I was like, that's mad. Like, we're the first teams to go.
Yeah,
awesome.
100.
And then, I think, so, man, it was just pretty exciting. Yeah.
And so you, first of all, it is so funny how the older generation, like, so my wife's parents, they're like diehard Raiders fans, like so diehard fans. And I, you know, they're Filipino. So I just assumed incorrectly that they, maybe they aren't into footy because it's not a huge, but there actually is
basketball.
I just assumed it was. Yeah, I assumed it was, and I was obviously assumed incorrectly. And there's actually quite a lot of the Asian community do love rugby league, but I just for some reason just didn't know. So, but I didn't know how much like they go to all the fan days, everything like that. Well. Anyway, they're similar. Like they'll say, "Oh, have you heard such and such? This is happening," and I'll be like, "Nah, like that's a GR. Like this is actually a lie."
Because you're more in the know than they are.
Yeah, so exactly. And also, I'm a younger generation, so I don't immediately believe. Like if I see the paper and like there's a headline, my natural reaction is like, "Ooh, I don't know if I believe that." Whereas the older generation, that's what they grew up with, so they kind of like they trust it a little bit more.
Of course, yeah, with prefabricated these days.
Yeah. So, but okay, so you find out you're going to Vegas, and you guys went over there the longest inches.
Yeah.
Bro, that's so hectic. Where'd you go?
So we had the best plan, I reckon, because we went straight into LA and we went straight to Vegas, and we were there for like the whole time pretty much. So I reckon like the first few nights, like boys had a bit of fun, whatever.
Get out of the system. Yeah.
And then like, cause Vegas, have you been to Vegas?
Yeah.
So Vegas, like 3 days is enough in Vegas. Like, you don't need to be going like longer than that.
No.
So when we got there, like the first 3 days was like, yeah, this is mad, whatever. And then we got on a Wednesday, and then come Saturday, it was like, all right, we're training, and Sunday, like relax, Monday, training week. And by then it was just like, the boys were like, I'm pretty sure most of the boys were just like, not over it, but like, all right, sweet, like we got out of the way.
Yep.
And then we were just, training and just locking in and, going out for dinner or lunch, going to see some shows or whatever.
Bro, it's so different. Like going out to dinner here compared to Vegas is so different. Like you can just find a nice like cruisy joint anywhere here, like in Australia. Whereas Vegas, it's like just lights everywhere and shit.
Yeah, very, very much. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was mad like that we did it that way.
Yep.
Because obviously other teams, they went on like pretty much a mini holiday, and then they got to Vegas, and then and then like once you get to Vegas, like 3 days out before the game, like what are you gonna do? Sit in a hotel room every day? Yeah. So I reckon that's where we had the advantage. So it was pretty good planning, by like Seibs and like the staff and that.
Yeah, it's smart because like a lot of people outside looking in were like, "Oh, that's too long to go. The boys will get lost."
Yeah.
But actually, the opposite. It's actually quite intelligent because it's like, look, boys. We know what the boys are like, so let's get them out of the system. Let's get them there. The bright lights, they can explore it. Yeah. And then we know by day 4 or 5, they're just like, whatever. Because it is like that. I went over there for the Timmy Zoo fight. You know where he cut himself on that? Yeah. And I went over there by myself and like, bro, like, I don't actually like Vegas that much, eh?
Nah, you don't like, because I went there the year before in October and September, like for holiday.
Yeah,
so it's just coincidental that we're going again.
Well, okay.
And then,
so you'd seen it all already?
Yeah, but my trip was a bit like, It was very fun, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't like, we didn't plan it the best. Like we went to LA for 2 days and then we went to Vegas for 8 days. Like, you don't go to Vegas for 8 days.
You'd rather go to LA for 8 days.
Exactly. Yeah, and we just planned it wrong. But we went for the Canelo Alvarez fight versus Charlo.
No way.
Yeah, so we had no seats for that. But first 3 days was fun, go out and whatever. Yeah. Then after that, like I think all of my day consisted of was like wake up, train, go shopping, get lunch, sip like strawberry daiquiris by the pool every afternoon, and then go out to dinner. And then like I come back, I just want to go. You know what I mean? Like,
chill out. Bro, fight nights over there are hectic.
Amazing, bro. Yeah,
they're so well done.
Yeah, for sure.
Fire. I remember. Yeah, the Timmy Zoo fight versus Fundora, T-Mobile Arena. Was your T-Mobile Arena?
Yeah.
Bro, how hectic is it?
Crazy. It's an amazing place. Yeah.
Oh man, that's the one thing when I was over there with No Limit and KO. That's all I enjoyed. Like. When people are like, oh, did you like go see this? I was like, nah. Like I was just sitting there, fully frothing on like meeting the fighters, interviewing the fighters,
training and stuff. 100%.
Okay, so you get over there in that first game. So Bronx played Roosters, and you played.
Yeah, we played the Rabbitohs.
Rabbitohs, and you get the win. The win. Was that? What was that like,
mate? That was like such a different feeling because of like we travel halfway across the world, right?
Yeah,
and it's a competition game, so like you want to get the 2 points regardless. So yeah, we were just harping on all week. Or Seibs was like fighting for your right to party, like the song. Like, I think Travis Kelce said it after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Screaming to the mic.
Yeah.
So that was like our little theme, and then we were just like so locked in that game. Come out with the win, and then like the boys were just going crazy in the sheds and stuff. And it was just a good night, you know what I mean? Like,
surely that song came immediately on.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was the first song on. So, and then you have the after party and whatever. So, like, we didn't want to be, the team that turns up to the after party and like you lost. Like, it's still fun. Sure, the boys had fun regardless, but like it just felt like a little bit better, you know. Like 100%. The flight felt a little bit better home and stuff. So
it is a bit weird because like it's not like a grand final, but it's not like a normal round one either.
Bro, it felt like I remember like I was so nervous. It felt like a finals game.
Yeah, wow.
For sure had a finals atmosphere.
That's sick.
Yeah,
that's so good to hear.
Yeah.
So you have that first game, and I guess then, like for the overall the season, did you know heading into this year that you would play such a unique style of footy? Was that something all in the off season you worked on?
Yeah, for sure. Like we worked on, you know, running those shapes that we do out of yardage, and I remember back to 2021 we did something similar. You know, like we were playing off our own like 10 meter line, 15, 20 meter line, and scoring tries because we have the ability to score tries from anywhere. So we were like, well, why don't we use that ability? You know what I mean? So yeah, like obviously there's a trade off. You're throwing like more risk involved, but like, you know, some of the tries were able to, you know, like you look back at the try Tolu scored in that Doggies game, you know, just running on last, going across the field, getting the ball to somebody with speed. Like that's, you know, it's what we can do. So it's sort of like, you know, we're going to just run with our strengths. Yeah.
And so throughout the season, you know, you're playing good footy, you make finals footy, but you did your syndesmosis like last round?
The second last game, against the Doggies. Yeah.
Against the Doggies.
Yeah.
And because that would have been your second final series?
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess you would have been pretty devo doing that so close to finals footy.
Yeah, definitely. Like it was just, I don't know. It was a bit of a disrupted season with injuries. Like I had the hemi and then I had my AC, which didn't keep me out for long, but it was still like something you carry. Like you probably know what AC injury is like.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. And then obviously, you know, I had the ankle, so that kind of, and I was trying to rehab it to get back. And I was trying to run on it, and it was just like very hard, bro. Yeah. So it was a bit disappointing, but like, well, what am I going to do? It is what it is. You know, I just try to focus on what I could focus on. Yeah.
And this year, like what I've really enjoyed about watching you play is I feel like you've rounded out your game quite a bit. Like I think when you came into grade, you were a try scorer, fast as anything. You know, that was your main asset. Whereas I feel like you've improved like your carriage out of yardage, like a lot of parts of your game you've improved. Is that something you've been working on in the off season?
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I guess it's something that you know, like why I did the boxing and all that sort of stuff was just a mental thing. Like boxing is more physical than any sport in the world.
Bro, I was going to get to that.
We could go with, you know, kickboxing and you know, that is probably the worst.
Yuck.
You know, elbows and knees, and it's rubbish.
Yuck.
It's, you know, it's disgusting, but it's not rubbish, but it's, you know, it's yuck.
Bro, getting kicked in the shins and that? No, thanks.
No, thank you.
Nah.
But I just thought, you know, this is something I can do, you know, for my head space and going into footy. I just felt like, you know, I would just attack things a bit more head on and stuff like that. And I guess I've been, you know, trying to work on, you know, because I'm a big dude, so I need to be, you know, using that for more than just my speed and stuff. And, you know, if you want to last in the game, you're probably going to have to, you know, look at someone like Daniel Tupou.
Yeah.
In my opinion, is like been the best winger for the last 10 years, in my opinion. He's been, you know, just because of what he does for his team. But yeah, man, I guess it's something that I'm like, I still really feel like I'm very far away from like how good I can be in that area.
Yep.
You know, but it's just good to see that I've made a bit of progress, and then going into next year will be the same. And like, you know, I'm 24, so I've got a lot of time to keep getting better and better. So, but yeah.
Boxing, bro. What was the catalyst for that? Was it just you wanted to get a bit of mental toughness, or what was it? Because when I started training a bit of boxing, which was around the same age as you, it did mentally toughen me. Me personally, I'm not sure about yourself, but it did for me. Well,
I just noticed during the season last year, I was doing some sessions here and there, and maybe I'll do a bit of sparring here and there. I remember the weeks that I was doing the extra sessions, like in the game, I was just more aggressive.
Yeah.
And it was just such a weird thing. It was like I could just be doing a pad session, but come that week, I'm more aggressive if I don't do it. And on top of that, like I really enjoy, you know, the sport of boxing. Like I love watching boxing and I love training it. And I just felt like, well, here's an opportunity to, I guess, bet on myself. And it was more, I reckon it was more so the camp than the actual fight.
Yeah, okay.
You know, because I only fought like, you know, some rookie boxer who's had only a few amateurs, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't the best.
But you're a rookie as well. You hadn't fought
exactly.
Before.
I never fought before either. Yeah. And that's a normal thing when you start your boxing career. You usually verse someone that's, you know, you don't go out and verse the best of the best. But like, you know, I could have done a no limit show. I could have done it for, you know, cash or whatever. But I I just done it at the back of Reesby because like, it was just more about, you know, myself and stuff. And I wanted to grow as a person. And I felt like that helped. Like even like just walking around, like not saying like you walk around like a Gronk or, you know, like a hero, but you walk around different knowing that you feel confident in yourself. Like you can defend yourself or, you know, it's weird, man. It's weird. You just feel more confident as a person. The way you carry yourself, and that just, you know, kind of transferred to my footy, and yeah, that's the only reason I did it. Yeah,
I mean, you're absolutely right, because I remember when I did it, it makes you more confident in yourself when you're just walking around, but it makes you actually want to fight less, if you know what I'm saying, because you know what can happen because you actually have sparred. You know how dangerous it can be.
You don't have nothing to prove.
Exactly, you got nothing to prove. But at the same time, it squares your shoulders up a bit. You don't have to worry about anyone to a degree, and you know how to exit situations as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I notice like a lot of fighters are always less inclined to fight because they know like if some Derek is chirping at them at the bar, they can knock them out if they want to. They could annihilate them, but they don't have to. Yeah. Just knowing that they could do that is enough for them to walk away.
Absolutely.
But it's when you're like insecure about yourself,
proving yourself,
and you know that's when you start to bite and you start to, you know, think you have to prove something to somebody. You don't have to prove anything. So it has a lot of benefits, man. Yeah.
So walk us through the fight. So you're fighting in a pub.
Yeah. Oh, Reesby Workers. So it's like a RSL club. Whatever.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. And so you're in the back. How you nervous as any? How you feeling?
Yeah, bro. It was weird. Like, because the one thing I hate about footy is like you get to the game 2 hours before kickoff and you just sit there and just stare at like, you know what I mean? And I just sit there. I hate it. But with this one, I got there at like 7:45. I didn't get on till like 10:30 or something like that. I was there for ages, bro. Sitting at the back and whatever, you know, warming up and, you know, just, Because
people could like be short fights before you, or they can be real long shot fights.
Exactly, yeah. So a couple was like short, and then most of them were like pretty much the distance. And then I remember like it was time to go and whatever, and I was a bit nervous, but as soon as the walkout song and as I was walking out, like I thought like, oh, I'd be really nervous walking out, but I just felt like no nerves at all, like I didn't feel any pressure. And I just felt, you know, like I felt like I don't know, I had nothing to prove, you know what I mean? Like, it was just more,
just embrace the moment.
Yeah, it was more a reward for the hard work I put in the last, you know, 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever. So but yeah, man, it was like
And you won by TKO?
Yeah, kind of. Like I did, but the guy hurt his shoulder. Apparently, I don't know. It was going to end up that way anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't looking too good. The highlights I saw, it wasn't looking too good.
Yeah, it wasn't looking too good. But you know, I just came out and I was just trying to kill him. Yeah, I was trying to knock him out because I wanted one of those quick stoppages, you know. But I kind of punched myself out a little bit in the first round. Yeah, got a bit tired.
Did your corner say, "Can't pull it"? Like,
I couldn't hear the corner. I couldn't hear anything. But I remember sitting in the corner and I was like, oh no, this is bad. This is really bad. And then I went back out and then he was a pretty short guy and couldn't really reach me. So he hit me with a couple shots. And when you're like very fatigued, like they actually do stun you a little bit, like a little screenshot. But I reckon I probably only got hit twice and then he hurt his shoulder or something like that in the clinch or something. But I don't know.
It is what it is, I guess.
Like, you know, anyone stepping in the ring, you know, like
it's weird with boxing where, you know, a lot of the time being knocked out is from fatigue rather than from, like, if you take that same shot with no fatigue, you're pretty sweet. Yeah. Usually anyway, unless it's fucking absolutely. Whereas it's actually, if you're, you know, it's round 3 or 4, you take that same shot and you're fully gassed, it can like lights out. What about the feeling though? Did you get a little bit addicted to that feeling of like actually landing that?
I did during sparring. I did during sparring. In the fight, it's a bit weird because like the target is smaller because there's no headgear. The gloves are smaller, so the target is harder to hit, obviously. So it felt a bit weird throwing the punches. Like it just felt a bit like we're in sparring. I was pretty accurate, you know, because there's a lot to hit. But you'd be surprised like how 2 centimeters makes a big difference. You know what I mean? So I felt like a lot of shots, I was like, felt like way off, you know,
like grazing past it.
Sometimes not even grazing, not even hitting them. It's like what the hell, like. But I guess, you know, the whole like fight, everything is different. It's different to sparring. So but it was What was your initial question? I got lost in that.
Did you fall in love with that contact?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because they talk about, fighters talk about that like addiction to when you do land a perfect shot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I felt like inspiring when I was landing like especially counters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you just feel awesome. Yeah, and I think I had one sparring session where I had my nose busted open, like just pissing blood. And I remember like from that day on, like the more you get in the ring to spar, the more comfortable you feel.
Yeah,
and you just get to a point where like you watch sparring and you see the shots you get, like the guys getting hit with.
Yep.
And you think, damn, but then when you get in there and he hits you with the same shots, it's not that bad. Like, it's really not that bad.
Kind of like footy to a degree. Sometimes you watch footy games going, holy fuck.
I watch some games like with the boys playing and I'm like, bro, I don't want to take that carry. You know what I mean? But then you go take the carry, it's not even that bad.
100.
Yeah.
And so after that fight though, was it just relief? Just like, fuck, I did it. No.
Yeah, it felt like a bit of weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
I think like deep down I was trying to prove something to myself as well.
For sure.
And so I just felt like, yeah, like that. Yeah, I just felt like, like it's done now. I can go back to footy. And because to be honest with you, like a lot of, like, obviously I did it to better myself, but like I didn't necessarily want to do it, like, because it's like the feeling of like, you know, sport, like performing and pressure and people watching you and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Like it doesn't feel good. Like no one would want to go volunteer to do that. It doesn't feel good. But I thought, you know, if I just force myself to just get in that environment, I'll come out better.
Yeah.
And so, so it felt like a big relief after, you know, like I could just put it to bed and not think about it. So, yeah.
They talk about a lot in footy is like getting used to feeling uncomfortable. Like it's, you know, people, when you're out there and it's the 23rd minute and the ball's been in play for 20 minutes, like you're not enjoying it. You're just pushing through it.
Yeah.
But it's the reward on the other end that is so important.
For sure.
Yeah, that's cool. I can't speak for women because I'm obviously not a woman, but I always feel like any young man that is struggling with just identity of like what it is to be a man, masculinity, always good to just go and join like jiu-jitsu and MMA class. Bro. And it doesn't mean you have to fight or even spar, but just like get in the environment of doing that. I think it always helps young men.
Bro, I feel like it comes from like that. And I think it's just like a primal thing, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You think like hundreds of years ago when like obviously men would go to war and stuff and just generations of that, I just think like it's in a man to, not to like go out and fight people, but it's just that combat on that
challenging yourself.
That primal environment is just like, it does have an effect on you, you know what I mean? So like, if you're struggling with all that sort of stuff, like 100%, like as a man, go put yourself in those positions, get touched up a bit, you know?
I'll put it this way, I never walked away from a hard training session and regretted it.
Nah, never.
You know, you always walk away going, fuck, I'm glad I did that. Okay, but take us back to a young fella though. So you were born in Newtown and you're of Nigerian descent and Indigenous descent as well, but your stepfather is also Lebanese.
Yeah.
Mate, what was it like growing up?
Yeah, it was awesome. So obviously born in Newtown, you know, raised in Marylands my whole childhood, Marylands, Greystanes, Guildford, those areas. And it was like looking back on it for the most part, like I had a very good childhood, in terms of, you know, my parents did everything they could for me, you know, like, you know, my parents probably went through a lot of stuff that I didn't see, but they made sure like that I had what I needed and all that sort of stuff. You know, and at the same time, you know, probably saw a lot of things that as a kid, like you shouldn't see as well. And so, it's just all part of, you know, like that, what molds you as a person and stuff like that. But I started playing footy when I was 7 and, like I got to say my parents did the best they could with me. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
And so like growing up, you know, I'm sure it would have been for you because as you get to a certain age, you're like, oh, I look different to everyone else, or there's not many people that are like me. And I've only noticed this. Obviously, I'm a white Australian, but my son is Filipino. So it's funny how you only start noticing those things when it's involved with you. Like for example, with my son, I go, oh, he's Filipino, and I take him to daycare. I'm like, is there any other Filipino kids there? Just little things like that.
Yeah.
But when you're a white Australian, you don't even think about that stuff because you just always walk around. But for you personally growing up, what was it like?
It was a bit interesting, like as a kid, you know, like, cause obviously my parents are white, my sister's white and I'm black. So obviously it's like stand out.
Yeah.
So like, I just remember as a kid, like even if you'd go to, shops or for at McDonald's or something, and I'm standing next to mum, like the cashier would ask me if like, oh, like, can I help you? But I'm with my mum. She doesn't know that, you know, because it's a bit weird. So as a kid, I felt like, not like, because like kids don't know anything about like racist or anything like that rubbish. So I never felt like, like in that way. I just felt a bit confused. I was like, like she can't tell, but I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Okay, yep.
So I was just a bit like, why is it like this? And obviously, you know, like my mum, you know, explains to me and all that sort of stuff, like my biological father and all that rubbish. But like, as a kid growing up, like I had a bit of like an identity problem. Like I didn't really know like where I fit in. You know? Dad's Lebanese, mum's Australian, I'm black. Like it's just weird. Like which I, you know, because I'm not in touch with my Nigerian culture because I don't know my dad. I'm not Lebanese. I speak a bit of Arabic, but not much. So like, growing up, I'm probably more Lebanese than I am anything else now. But I'm Australian as anything, but like I don't look Australian as anything. You know what I mean? So it was a bit hard growing up to just try and figure that out. But like as I got through high school and like, you know, got turned into like a young man and stuff like that, I just like started to realize like I am who I am, and you know that's we're all human. You know what I mean? Like I don't really see colors and race and all that stuff. We're all human. Like
almost just embrace your unique situation that you're in.
100%.
And I think, you know, and I can't speak for you, but I would assume some of those situations probably made you a little bit stronger too when you come out the other side. Again, I can only assume I didn't go through it, but I guess as a young fella, being as good as you were at sport, I'm assuming you were pretty good at sport, or did you grow into it?
I was good like when I was really young, and then when I hit about 12, 13, when kids started to develop, I started to fall away a bit. And then as I got older...
Were you always taller?
I was taller like when I was that age, but then when I got to 13, 14, like I wasn't as tall as like the other kids. Like I remember Stefano, I went to school with Stefano, I played with him in year 7. He's still the same size as he was in year 7. So yeah, like I didn't, you know, I wasn't the tall kid, I wasn't the fast kid. So yeah, but as I grew up, 14, 15, 16, now I'm getting taller, 17, now I'm starting to make some rep sides that I wasn't making. That's kind of how my like little journey of an athlete kind of went like that, and then back up. So
so you start. I mean, I'm assuming there would have been a lot of parents that are like, oh, he's only getting selected because he's taller and bigger, and you would have heard all that nonsense and then you didn't make the sides, and you do make the sides. Is that like that is something that's frustrating as a young kid when you hear other parents like talking negatively about certain things, and you're just like, I'm a kid, like just chill.
I never really like heard any of that stuff, like.
Okay,
outside noise. I mean, not at that age. I was rubbish when I was 13, 14, so no one was talking about me anyways. It was not, everyone left me alone. It was fine. But I don't remember.
Maybe it was a soccer thing for me because you used to always hear like the politics, like, you know, he's only getting selected because of this and that, and you just
some
like,
parents
bro, these are kids.
Like, let the kids just be kids.
100%.
You know, just because, you know, your dream didn't work out.
Yeah,
whatever,
100%.
Let the kid just, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so you started relatively well at sport. Was sport just something you did for fun when you were a youngster, or was it something you absolutely loved? Or?
So I remember, like as a kid, like I was playing footy, like, you know, I was young and stuff, and I remember like telling my dad, like, I want to be like NRL superstar, like that's the job I want, not NRL player, NRL superstar. I was like, because as a kid, that's, you know, that's what they all are on TV to me. So like, I wanted to, you know, play NRL, and then like I said, when I went through that period, I wasn't that good. I was just like, I don't know, but I just kept playing. I kept turning up to school to play and that stuff. And then when I got like 17, 18, I started to realize, like when I made the Origin side for 18s, I was like, oh, like maybe I'm like a chance, you know. And then I played Schoolboys, and I was like, well, you know. And then it kind of just happened, you know.
Wow. And so did you play any other sports growing up, or was it just league?
Nah, I did like a little bit of like athletics and stuff when I was younger, but I never played any other sport besides rugby league.
Wow. Do you ever think, what if, with your speed in regards to athletics?
I guess, a little bit. Cause I think like I'll probably be pretty good. Like a couple of my good mates are track runners, you know, even Josh as a party, obviously our Aussie sprinter, like he went to the Olympics and stuff. And, and even he believes like it'd be pretty dangerous on the track, you know.
100%.
Coming from one of our Olympians. So, I love the, you know, the sport of track and field. So I do think about that. I also think, you know, geez, I'll playing in the NBA and making cash.
Built for it.
But like, I never really think what if, because I know like at the end of the day, like God put me on this earth to do what I'm supposed to do. And that is not what if or could have or should have. It is what it is. So this is my calling, and I don't really think like, oh, I wish, you know. But I do play the idea of like, imagine like a code switch or something like
100%.
just, for laugh in my head. But nah, I don't really think what if.
Yeah. I mean, I sometimes think like, what if I had stuck with soccer? Like, what if I had followed my brother to England? Like, where would my life be? Don't get me wrong, I'm stoked with where I've ended up. I feel very, very privileged and honoured to be what I'm doing. Okay, so at what point do you reckon, because you said you went really well, then you struggled, then you started going well again. At what point did you start training harder? Did you start,
Nah, there was just a game. I think, honestly, it was just a maturity thing. Like, as you grow up and stuff, you start to, like, things start to, a little bit, it's usually the other way around, right? Because you get to NRL and it's so serious. But for me, like, going through what I went through as a kid and, like, obviously, getting picked on for not being a good player, like, in the sports school, the culture is, like, a bit cutthroat.
Okay, yep.
So, but as I started to get a bit older in school, I started to let go of that and not really care too much. And then, I think, honestly, I just had one game where they put a crossfield up and it was my first try. So I scored my first try, I think it was in year 9 or year 10. And we played heaps of games from year 7. We play state knockouts. You play 5 games in the state knockout every year. So it was like my first try for my school. And I remember catching the crossfield, scoring. And then I was just, I don't know, I was getting picked to play. And then,
So you said that they used to get like picked on or whatever. Was that, I guess, obviously it was difficult, but what was that like for you?
It was hard because, like, obviously, as a young kid, you're playing in this. I went to Westfield Sports, so a lot of kids that play there are really good rugby league players, as well as all the other sports schools. But like going there and not only was I like not like really good, I was just afraid as well. You know what I mean? Like first seeing kids from Hill Sports that are playing Wenny ones and stuff, and I play Div 3. I'm not that good. So like it hurt a lot, like to hear some of the like things that the boys would put on me and stuff like that as a young kid. A handful of I can think of now are in jail. So
really cool.
Like who's got the last laugh?
Absolutely, bro.
So that was a bit tough, but it made me who I am today. You know what I mean? Like when I hear things about me, now as an NRL player from somebody who hasn't played a game of NRL in their life, it's kind of like to laugh.
You've been through that kind of stuff before, so it's like whatever.
What I went through when I was younger. Is and so I guess I'll try to use that and explain that to kids these days. Like some kids probably still go through it. Like
for sure. I mean, if there's any kids listening now, I got bullied relentlessly through school, like to the point where I have to punch on to stop the bullying. But you come out the other side and it does make you stronger. And also 100%. It gives you a bit of a fire to just go, we'll see who ends up on top. And I guess so when it kind of clicked for you, you had the added fire of like, I'd been picked on for no reason at all other than I just wasn't making footy sides. Now all of a sudden I'm playing good footy. Did that give you just that extra bit of motivation to go, you know what, I'm going to follow this all the way?
Yeah, I guess so. I started to enjoy playing footy again, like that 7-year-old, 8-year-old, running around the Redlands Oval. Yeah. I started to feel that a bit again, and it's it's not actually. I mean, obviously, your prodigies have been machines since they were kids, and end up being NRL greats and stuff. But it's not. It's more common than you think. Like you look at Hamole, for example, wasn't a good. He'll say he wasn't a good player when he was young.
It's crazy.
I think Critter played Div 3. I don't even know if he might have played Div 2, but he never played Div 1.
Yeah, wow.
He played reps like I don't think he played Harold Mats and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and look at those players now. So. I think it's more like if you want to really do something and you just stick to it, you'll find a way. Like you'll make it eventually. Touch wood, no injuries and all that sort of stuff. But it's a lot more common. Like
Yeah, I think a lot of young kids watching now assume that guys like yourself or Homole or Critter were just always naturally gifted from the day dot.
No, never.
But it's hard work. It's hard work to get you there. Okay, so you that year 9 or 10, you have that moment where you score that try, you get locked in. But then obviously 2018, you get selected for the Australian Schoolboys team. Was that a surprise at all when you got selected, or had you been playing so well that?
No, I've been playing good. Like I played, Sydney Southwest. Like I made that, pretty easily, and then played, Sydney Gold, made that pretty easily as well. Even CH. Like I had a really good few games of Sydney Gold to make CHS.
Yep.
And then that one was a tough one because now we're like, we get into a really good group of players.
Yeah.
And so I played pretty good that campaign as well for CHS. And I wasn't like sure I was gonna make it. I was like, I didn't actually really, not that I didn't care, but like I wasn't like like banking on it. Like it was just like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And then made that squad, and then went to England and whatever, all that sort of stuff. So
that was England, right? Had you travelled overseas yet?
That was the first time I went overseas.
Holy.
Yeah. So I went to England, and it was a good. I think we had like Tommy Talau, Tommy Dearden, Critter, Matthew Dury. Who else? I think.
Did Stefano make it?
I think Spence was in that team. Spencer Linu. Actually, I can't remember. I can't remember too many of the middles. Stefano? He had like, I think he had like ACL injury around that time.
Oh, really? Okay. But still, like Deard and Critter and all that's hectic.
Yeah. We had a good team, man. Like, So, but it was a cool experience.
And so when you get over there, like a young group of lads just enjoying it, like what was that experience? I remember when I went over for soccer. It's just
Heathrow Airport. Is that it?
Yeah.
Heathrow. Yeah, I remember we got there and we got on the bus. I remember I went to go get like a drink or hot chocolate from like one of the airport things. It was like £7. I was like, what the hell?
That would have been like $20 back in the
something like double. Yeah. Anyway, and then I remember like we got outside, it was freezing. Got on the bus and it was dark and like traffic. It was just so weird, bro.
Yeah,
such a foreign place. But it was a pretty good trip. Yeah.
Bro, I remember I went over there for soccer when I think it was like 15. Anyway, so we got over there and like. It's not like you're scared, but you're just so intimidated by like everything is so foreign, and they like speak the same language, so it's like not even that much difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got over there, and we had to play Manchester United under 16s, and they took us to their training grounds at the time, and this is like would have been year 2001 or two, so like we're not talking like 15 or anything like that. And bro, over there, it's so hectic that the grounds are literally heated. Like this is like 20 years ago. So underneath the ground, when you slide tackle and that. They were heated.
We didn't have heated grounds. That was like 20 years later.
Bro. And so on top of all that, they because this is at Manchester United's training facility.
Yeah.
And so
you're right.
Yeah, so it's hectic. When you walk in, it is just like Ferrari, Bentley.
Yeah. That's normal,
like normal over there. Over there. And yeah, it was just so foreign. Like I'll never forget, like we woke up one morning, it was sunny. And we were all like, fuck yeah, like thongs, shorts, shirts. Yeah. Walked outside, freezing. We were just like far out. Yeah. Okay, so you go on that trip. Had you been picked up by any club yet, or were you still a free agent?
I was at St. George. I think I was about to re-sign like a 20s contract for 2 years or something like that.
Yep.
And then that got upgraded to like 20s and then development, and then I just got completely upgraded to just development straight out of school.
Yeah, wow, okay.
And then I was on development contract, but I ended up debuting the same year. Like it just like that.
It happened so quick.
Very quickly.
That's crazy for a kid that like around year 10-ish wasn't really confident in his ability. 2 years later to be in a first grade squad. Yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah. I had to work very hard to just like, just to keep like not let it get to me too much, And I still need to work on it now, but because now it's a different beast, right? But it's a funny, like I'm really happy with my story and my journey. Like I'm really, really happy that it was that way. Yeah. Because now when I have setbacks, I know how to handle them a lot better than if everything was going well. Yeah. And then something just So.
Yeah, because sometimes you always almost look at some of the kids that has gone well from the get go. When they do get their first setback, it's like world ending to them. And whereas if you've had setbacks along the way, you know how to prepare for it and how to take care of it. Yeah. Okay, so you rock up to that first session with the first grade squad. What was that like? Were you just going first year out of school?
It was so funny. Like we're doing catch pass, and I'm saying, Gareth Widdop, like first and last name.
First year out of school.
Well, what's going on? I'm like Gareth Widdop passing the ball. I'm like, why did I just call him Gareth Widdop? Like it's like in a movie, like the young kid, like he gets his shot and he's like rattled, But it was good. It was good, and the sessions were pretty tough, man. But like it was. I was happy like the way my career started and that. Yeah.
How did you deal with the intensity of a first preseason? Because I know I struggled.
Yeah, but I ended up getting shin splints and all that sort of stuff. Like, but I was all right. Like I completed my sessions and stuff like that. Yep. But it was just it was very hard. Like I remember waking up like 4:30 and all that sort of stuff most days, and I remember getting up. I'm like, am I really doing this? Like, is this what my life is like now? Yeah. Even just doing little things like the primer circuits you do before field. Yeah. It's so tedious and annoying, but you got to do it. And I'm like, geez, like, but you get used to it, and it's just
It's funny because when I was through the era of before that, you didn't really do the primer stuff or the shoulder and that. but then it was introduced, and even to me, it was a shock. Like before gym, you'd do a whole gym session before gym, and you'd be like, "Holy shit!" Like all the rotator cuff stuff and
scap stuff,
yeah.
that rubbish,
but you got to do it. Like it just
hard.
keeps you in such good shape.
100%.
Okay, so you make your first grade debut round 19 of that year. So against South Sydney, you start on the wing. You score 2 tries in your debut. But I mean, first of all, walk us through finding out about your debut. Do you remember how that happened at all?
Yeah, I remember. So the week before or 2 weeks before, we went to versus Bulldogs.
Yep.
I remember Mary was requesting that I be allowed to play like through the NRL because I think it was like before July or whatever.
Okay.
What's the date? Whatever the
it's like cut up June 30 or some shit like that.
And I remember, bro, like I remember like we had a meeting with him, my mum, my dad, and he was saying, "Look, we want you to debut if you're allowed this week." And yeah, I remember like that week, man. I remember I was driving, bro, and I was like, bro, I was actually like started like crying and stuff, and I was just praying. I was like, please God, like let this be, you know, that moment. Like I've never wanted anything more like this. And I remember just being so emotional about it, and I hadn't even got it yet, but like because it was just like right there, you know, I just wanted one game. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. And I remember like, you know, it didn't happen, but 2 weeks later, like that date had finished, and Mary was like, "You're straight in," like because I was playing good in cup, and we weren't going too well at the time. And I remember he just wanted to get me in there, and because he just believed in me, and you know, so yeah, like when it came time to actually, you know, remember I was meant to play cup that week, and Mary called me up and goes, "You're not playing cup this week. You're gonna play first grade next week."
Yep. Did you enjoy it under Mary as a coach?
Yeah, I did. I did actually. I just enjoyed, you know, like. In my opinion, he was a really good coach. You know,
I've had him too. I really like him as well.
I like him. I like him as a person. And like I've had a couple coaches in my career. You know, I've had one of my junior rugby league coaches, Ross. I've had my St George's Schoolboys coach, Pat. Even down to Marinans Rams Neil when I was 7. And these a couple coaches I've had along the way. Halsey, who's our assistant coach now. He was my coach in school. These coaches like believed in me, and a lot of coaches didn't. But that's just like one coach might like you and not like you, and vice versa. Like it's just how it is. Yeah. So I never took really anything personal. But these coaches like really believed in me and helped instill that belief in myself at times. And so like Mary obviously gave me my debut, and he really believed in me. And even when I wasn't playing good, I had one good game, and then I was like like NRL's tough. It's not like that every week. But he still backed me. And I'm very, very grateful. That I had Mary. Mary's had what he's had to do with my career so far. So
I really liked Mary McGregor as a coach. He was very honest, and he'd always tell you what you needed to. Like he didn't just like if he dropped you, he didn't just go, "Oh, you dropped," and wouldn't tell you. He'd be like, "This is what you need to work on. This is what you need to do." But that first game where you scored 2 tries, do you remember those 2 tries, or at least one of them?
Yeah. First one was Gareth Witter put in a kick.
Yep.
Didn't know if I grounded it or not, but went to video ref. I grounded it. I was like, yes, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And then Kevin McInnes does that mad charge down, and then Luch gets the ball, gives it to Yui Aiken, and gives it to me, and I get around the wing to score. And then all comes crashing down after that. So, yeah, it was for 79 minutes and 45 seconds. Was amazing. I remember I got the first carry of the game off the kickoff. Like everything that could go right in this game for a dream debut went right until the last 15 seconds. So, but I got that one back eventually later in my career, getting a game-winning try. So evens it out.
Because so Campbell Graham scored the match winner.
Yeah, forward pass. Forward pass, but that's fine. We won't talk about it. Yeah, that was a day I really learned I had to trust my centre. So but they scored that, and it was it comes up every year, bro. On this day, so
no way.
Year, yeah, right.
Let me forget about it.
Yeah, I know, but like, it's
Hey, you're a rookie. Like that's literally like the things you learn as a rookie.
Of course, yeah. I just unfortunately for me, I learned it at a very crucial moment. I remember they scored, and Jem was walking over back to those like LED things. He's kicking it and shit, and it was fuming. I get in the sheds, Gareth Widdop's head's down like that, and I was just like, "Nah, they hate me. Like,
no
I was 18,
way.
I was rattled, but
bro.
It's funny looking back on it now.
Yeah, you're looking back. In the time, you probably thought that, but I'm sure they wouldn't have at all thought that.
No,
not
at all. No, not at all. I know Bell didn't feel like that way at all. And yeah, like I mean, our season, like wasn't going well anyway. So like, I don't think
it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, like it was round like 19. Like I can't help you boys. I'm sorry, but it was fine. Yeah.
Okay, so you have those 2 games, and then the next year, you asked for an early release. I guess like what was the reason for that? They refused the request as well. Like what happened in this situation?
So yeah, I obviously that's when I think Dean Young and Flano came into the team as assistant coaches, and I remember back then like they had like a kind of selection panel and whatever, and so like it was just a difficult time, you know, like it was just, but at the same time like I also wasn't like lighting it up either. So even though Mary was picking me, like because he believed in me. Like I said, some other coaches might not feel that way. Yeah. But it's nothing against, the other 2 coaches. It was just at the time, like I just wasn't performing as good at NRL standard. Like I was 18. So it simply was what I was. But, that coupled with, driving to Wollongong every day, I just wasn't happy in the environment. You know what I mean? Like,
sometimes it's just not working. Like sometimes it literally is just not working.
That was what it was meant to be for me. I was meant to come to their junior reps and play there for a couple of years, and then I was meant to go to Manly. But I was just like my schedules in those days were just so much longer, and people make jokes about like you went from Wollongong, but you go to Manly. But you go do the 2 drives. You told me which drive you to do. Very different. But and environment and all that sort of stuff. But it was hard, like. All that media stuff. It was the first time I experienced all that media rubbish around my release and stuff. So I was a bit like, what's going on here? Yeah. It was a lengthy process, but I eventually got released and went separate ways with the club. That's it.
Yeah. And also at that time, Dragons were going through a pretty tough period as well.
Yeah.
Not trying to say it was purely the Dragons' fault, because I'm sure you probably look back on a few things and go, you know what, I probably could have handled this a little bit better. At least I know I could have. When I was younger, as a teenager, there's certain things that, although the club probably could have done things better, I could have done things better too. But at the same time, like, the last few years, like it's fixed now, but for quite a while, the Dragons and juniors hasn't been working. Like they have had issues with their juniors and bringing the best out in them.
Yeah.
I think they've sorted it now. I think Flano as a head coach is really good for them because he's got the power to make the decisions he wants. But I mean,
that's a big thing, right? Having the power to make decisions you want as a coach.
Exactly.
It was something that during that time was a bit of an issue.
Yeah, okay.
And so a lot of things went the way they went. But now you see like Flano's in full control of that club, really. Yeah. And he has that influence.
Mate, I'm telling you, any club where the coach doesn't have most of the power to make decisions is not going well.
Yeah.
It's seriously not going that well.
100%.
It never, ever works out well. But yeah, so anyway, it was a tough time with the Dragons, but you get released and it ends up being good for everyone. So you go to Manly. What was that like, when you first arrived at Manly for you?
Manly was pretty awesome. Like I remember like Desi and a new group of players and Trebojeviches and Ches and those players we had there at the time. Just the culture was completely different. Yeah. Like I remember going to training and Des as a coach is very, very like simplistic towards his training. Like very like we don't do all this like extra like sand dunes and all this sort of stuff. All the work's done on the field.
Yep.
And that's it. And so I remember the sessions like compared to St. George where every time I was going to train, it felt so professional. Not that it didn't feel professional at Manly, but it felt so professional and so like the way it was just like it was mentally stressful for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
But here it was like we're training at Narrabeen and the field's like whatever, and the sessions are very like straightforward and it doesn't change too much. And I just felt like so much like I felt like training was just came easier. Like I don't know, the environment, going to training, everything was just so like it wasn't all like all this rada. It was just like this is what we're gonna do, and that's it. We're gonna do that for like 12 weeks, whatever.
So simplified to a degree.
Very simple, very simple. And so and then also playing with those players that I'm turbos at the ball, is throwing me long balls, and I'm able to use my speed, and I'm like, wow, this is mad. I could do this all year. Yeah. And so we did, but it was definitely the correct move at the correct time for sure.
Yeah. And so you get there. So this would have been 2020
in December.
Yeah, December. You get there. 3-year deal with Manly. So round 1. So you make your debut round 1 for the club.
Yeah.
I guess that would have been like a big show of faith in you? Because like I'm assuming the year before you would have been maybe in and out of first grade to a degree. The year before at the Dragons.
Yeah, I played like 3 games.
Yeah. So
games.
Whereas this one, they're going, mate, round 1 you're in.
Yeah.
The confidence would have given you.
For sure. I mean, like again, like another coach like Desi had that belief in me to put me, because he I remember during that release period, it was 6 months, I had a lot of offers from different clubs, and then like things change, but he was like, no, I still want him, I still want him.
Yep.
As well as Scott Fulton and Bob as well.
Yeah.
Want to be there. And so yeah, like, you know, like he put me there, he had the belief in me, you know, and same way, you know, Seibs does as well. The way he structured some of our game plan, you know, a lot of it does relate to getting me the ball and using, you know, our strengths or whatever. But yeah, big confidence boost for sure. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, like getting another chance at this.
Yep. And round 1, when you get selected in round 1 with a full strength side, it gives you that confidence of like, I'm in the best 13. Like they believe in me to be one of the main. 100%.
Yeah.
And so that year, you know, you score quite a few tries. You play pretty much.
I played every game.
Yeah, every game. You know, you got multiple doubles. I think you got a hat trick, and then at the end of the year, you get you and Schuster were announced as joint winners of the Ken Arthurson Rising Star Award.
Yeah,
I mean that would have been pretty cool to get that award.
For sure. Yeah, I even growing up and stuff, I didn't get too many awards like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to get the Ken Arthurson Award, and then obviously like to get it with Shuey as well. Like for us, like our best mate passed away that season.
Yeah,
so like obviously wanted to, you know, kind of dedicate everything we were doing that season for him. Yeah. So to wrap it up like that was just like it was you know, scripted.
Yeah. So. And obviously, you know, you passed away during the preseason. Like for you personally, how tough was that? Yeah, it was hard. Like you know, it was pretty hard. Like I didn't really have too many people like pass away on me. Like I mean, when I was a kid, you're a kid, like you don't remember. But yeah, that was like the first person like I actually loved in my life that had like tragically, you know, passed away. So it was pretty hard. But I think I processed it pretty well. And yeah, like it's not gonna be the last person that's gonna, you know, pass away on me. So I guess I kind of just have to keep moving forward. And I guess for his memory and for rugby league fans, like what was he like as a person?
Yeah, he was very quiet guy. But the way he played footy was, I would say, like very similar to like Moses Leota play style.
Really tough.
Just very great leg speed, strong, bumps people off.
Yeah.
And you know, he's got good ball playing abilities.
Yeah.
Probably didn't have the best engine.
The big boy, the big fella.
Yeah, but it was, you know, when he was fit, he was good. It was good for, you know, good 20. But yeah, he definitely would have debuted for sure.
Yep.
How long? I don't know if he'd still be at the club now. Like things change, but he definitely would have played for Manly.
What about personality wise? Like, what was he? Happy-go-lucky guy?
Yeah, he was like a bit of a troll.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like one of the best, you know, at trolling, like in the group chats and you know, sending like stickers and edited photos just to piss the boys off and stuff. He was mad at it. But like Keith was like that, like in the group of friends, like everyone like kind of looked up to Keith. Like everyone knew like Keith's the man. You know what I mean?
100%.
So yeah, he was just a funny guy, very respectful.
Yep.
And very like quiet and humble. But like once you get to know him and you're in the inner circle, like different dude.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so 2022 rolls around. But 2021, that was the year where you guys went to a prelim, wasn't it?
Yep.
With Tommy Turbo, you scored like 27 tries or something like that?
Yeah, like 26, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I got it wrong. Yeah. But like, I guess walk us through that year. Like we'd never seen a player. Oh, I mean, you could argue, but I believe like that year from Tommy Turbo was like one of the greatest I've ever seen.
What did he play? What did Turbo play like? I don't know if it was like 17 or 15 games and scored like 28 tries and all those try assists and like, come on, bro. Was it Origin on that year? Or was it at the end of the year? I can't remember. Yeah.
I'll play the series.
Oh yeah, he scored a hat trick and like come on, bro, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like, that's in my opinion, like in the modern game, like the best individual season that anyone's ever had.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was like...
What's it like playing outside?
Yeah, mad. Like when the ball's coming to me, I get the ball, and all I got to do is get around the winger.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to be on the inside, so I just put him in the ears back and get to the fullback and look, draw and pass. Very, very, just came so easily.
Were you just going into each game going, we got this? Like, 'cause that's what it looked like anyway at some stages.
I mean, personally for me, I never liked that.
Okay.
Like, not that I'm like, don't believe in our team or that we'll win, but I'm never like, I never think it's just going to be easy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just took it as it came every game. But like, after the first like 20 minutes, I'll know, like,
he's on.
Yeah, we got this,
Okay, so that year was around. And do you remember the final series of that year? I remember
it was in Queensland.
You beat South and then you lost to Storm?
So we lost to Storm, we beat Roosters, and then we lost to South.
Okay. Yeah. What do you remember from that series, final series? Because it was your first one.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the beauty of like not experiencing it is like you don't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
So I was just like, whatever. Just footy, really. It's just like more games at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then it was over. Like it's like you can't really take for granted making the finals. It's like it's so hard to make the finals, and even to get to prelim, to play for a grand final. Like, man, like I always think like I just want that over again, just because like
80 minutes.
Yeah, from a grand final, and once you get there, who knows what can happen?
Yeah.
You know? So, but yeah, it'll come back around for sure. But yeah, it was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah. I mean, just what an incredible, like to watch Tommy do what he did that year. Like even as a fan, I feel like privileged to be able to watch that. It was so hectic.
Yeah.
So hectic. Okay, so next year rolls around, and you guys are going obviously relatively well, and then you get hit with the Manly Pride jersey situation. I guess for you personally, you were one of the players that, for religious reasons, decided not to wear it.
Yeah.
I guess what were your feelings and what was it like for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like obviously, religion was a big part of that, but it was also just I didn't like the agenda that was being pushed onto us at the time as well. I don't like the agenda that's pushed onto anybody. Everyone's free to believe what they want and live how they want. And if we're going to bring religion into it, then it's my duty to respect and love those people regardless. And I do, but it doesn't mean I need to conform to, their standards and what they deem to be the right way to live. Everyone has their own opinion. So, it was an interesting one. Like, whole country came for us and stuff. And, but yeah.
Later that year, obviously you finished 11th. And then Desi Hasler gets moved on. Was that tough for you? Because obviously it seemed like you had a pretty good relationship with Desi.
Yeah, for sure. And a bit of me felt a bit sad for him that maybe it was our decision to not wear the jersey that ultimately cost him his job. Maybe not. I don't know. But everything happens for a reason. And like he went on to Gold Coast and he's made them a better club. And you know what I mean? I'm sure he's happy and whatnot. So it was a bit tough. To kind of carry that weight, but this is rugby league. Things are very cutthroat. Things are very like no one is safe. You know what I mean? Like so, it was tough, but like you just gotta focus on what you can control.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And so then when the next year, when you started hearing Seibold was going to be announced as your coach, or he was a front runner. Like for me personally, it was a bit surprising because obviously what happened at Brisbane, I was like, I thought that he would probably have to go away, maybe do some. I know he did some assistant stuff.
Yeah.
But what was it like for you hearing that? Because he's a relatively young coach. He has quite progressive methods as well. What was it like for you?
I don't know. At the time I was a bit like nervous because I don't know these coaches and also Flenner's back, so I'm like, oh no, this guy hates me. At the time I'm like, I can't get away. I'm not playing footy this year, but it was a bit like, because it's changes, it makes everyone a bit, like on edge, I guess. But he's again like another coach that believes in my ability, and will back me to the hills. So yeah, like once we got into the season and stuff, it started to really feel that support from him and stuff. And I think he's a great coach. He's had a lot of experience, in England, and he's coached some pretty high elite level teams and clubs and stuff. So, but yeah, man, like it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Is his coaching quite? Because I just heard from the players of the Broncos that his coaching is quite specific, and you've got like certain times you spend certain drills and that. Yeah. Is it quite new age kind of coaching?
Yeah, or? a little bit. I feel like he makes it simple as well.
Okay.
Doesn't overcomplicate things. Puts a lot of effort into our game plans and our themes for what we're trying to do. I know the game plans that you come up with. If and when we do execute them, we usually win. So, I think he's a great coach. But yeah, like when you compare Mary, Desi, and Siebes, like three completely
very different coaches. Yeah. Yep. And mate, heading into this year. So first of all, I need to know: are you the fastest runner in the NFL? In the NRL.
In the NFL.
NFL, no NRL.
Say dada. No, I'm just playing. It's such a funny question, like, because we're going to do the race and all this sort of stuff.
So what happened there? Because the quote came out as you won't be able to race because you'll be in the grand final.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say, I'll be there. Like we're not going to make the grand final.
Because the worst thing for you is if you said, I'll be there. People would have been like, "Are you serious, bro? You're still playing finals footy."
And the funny thing is, I remember like the whole story. In the whole story, like I'd said that, but they'd put up a quote like, "I'll let my legs do the talking" or whatever. And I think like a lot of people thought like, "Oh, this guy doesn't believe in his team or whatever."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, well, that's not the case because you read the whole story.
Yeah.
I say like, I'm not going to be there and whatever.
Yeah.
And so So what's it called? Like.
People took that out and go, "Oh, this guy reckons he's gonna, they're gonna win the grand final."
Yeah, it flops, but it was just whatever. Like, I knew what I was committed to and the campaign, So
I mean,
I couldn't run anyway with my ankle, so
your ankle's done as well. Yeah. But I mean, let's say there was a 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
Are you winning or not winning?
I'm probably winning. I'm probably winning.
By how much?
That's a good question. Depends. I don't know.
Who would you be the most concerned about?
So I would say like, I would name like a 4. I would say like Tolu.
Yeah.
I would say because he can run track.
Yeah.
I would say Dom Young because he's got like a lot of great top end speed. And like then I'd just go like Pereira and Hammer.
What about Xavier Savage? He's track.
He's quick too. Yeah, he's quick. I think he has a track background as well.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, like what am I going to do? Go around and say like this guy's fast, that guy like I don't know. I'm just kind of like
you're not the arbiter of like speed or whatever. Like you're just
I don't know. Like all I know is I believe in myself, and that's that. Yeah. Like everyone else is going to do. So.
Yep. Do you reckon they'll ever do it? Do you want to do it?
I'd love to do it.
Yeah,
but I'd love to do it properly. Like I think the way they were trying to do it was just like silly, like because you think like if you make an 8, right? Would you say Xavier Coates is in the top 8 of fastest? Maybe have to be, right? I mean,
I'm trying to think. Top speed, yeah.
But you'd put him in anyway.
Yeah, you'd put him in.
Put
him
in.
Yeah.
But he's not doing the race because he's playing that day.
Yeah, okay.
So doing a race on a grand final day, it doesn't make sense. If the Roosters win a grand final, Dom Young's not running.
Yeah.
So if Dom Young's not running and I run and I win, I'm the fastest. Like how you the fastest if the fastest people are not?
They got to do it at Magic Round.
Well, I just think honestly, I reckon if they wanted to do a separate event, because my opinion was you're not going to bring any more ice to the grand final for the 100-meter race.
Yeah.
In general, like people going to see the game, and it's just a bonus. Like you're pretty much like giving them like
extra cream on top.
Yeah. But if you want to, make revenue or money out of it, honestly, think they could put on an event at the SoPac or something, SoPac Arena, like they did with the Gatorade.
We wanted to do. Do you want to tell you what we wanted to do, bloke? Oh. Well, we didn't have the resources, and I know they wouldn't do it. We wanted to do like a combine, but we wanted to invite because obviously we know NRL clubs would never let their players go. So what we wanted to do is invite, if we had the resources, like kids from all over the country, but not just Australia, but like PNG kids, like almost like pick out the best athletes from Samoa, Tonga, PNG, NZ, all the different places to play league, bring them over for a combine. So you've got like vertical jump, you've got vertical leap, everything, like bench press, chin ups, sprinting. And then from that, if you could, whoever wins that gets a contract with an NRL club.
Yeah, for sure.
But I reckon that it would be sick if the NRL just did a combine with NRL players and monetized it, like made it a full day. Because like it's just like a day of training for NRL players.
Yeah.
Like like doing a 100-meter sprint, like that's what you would do at training anyway.
Yeah.
So
you think how much money they'd make, like as well, like probably from sports bet.
100%.
Sort of stuff.
Oh man, the betting
just
on
selling
that.
tickets to get into Sopak. I don't know. I've heard people say like, oh, people aren't going to pay to come see that, but I reckon
if the NRL go around it,
I reckon they'd find a way to do it. But I mean, honestly, like I don't care. I'm just trying to play footy and play good footy. And, you know, when that topic comes up, I have a bit of fun with it.
Well, because like you could do it so that you could have the NRL players entered, but you could also have players that haven't made it in the NRL, but are competing with NRL players.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I'm sure there's a lot of scouts out there that if they saw a young fella that was like, you know, he was 5'11" or 6 foot, and he came third in the 100 meters, you're going to pick him up because like he's quick, relatively good physical ability. Or if some guy does like 1,000,000 chin-ups and he's got good footwork, like why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a lot of kids out in the bush that are such good footy players.
100%.
A lot of them, you know, because you come from those remote areas, a lot of issues stop them from going in further, you know.
Absolutely.
And a lot of, you know, they come from a lot of families that have a lot of generational issues, and so they pick them up. But they're talented, they're really gifted footy players, and there's some of them that have come out of those regional New South Wales and stuff like that and played NRL, being some of the best players to ever play. It's like, but there's so much more talent out there. And
well, think about how many, as you literally just said, like how many young kids that unfortunately for some reason didn't have their parents take them to training 3 times a week or 2 times a week.
Yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden you've got this guy this girl or guy with all this talent, but because the parents unfortunately either work too much or they've got their own issues, he can't get to training, then he loses interest and he starts focusing on things that are not good for him. And before you know it,
that's very, very common.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing, but like, I guess that's more, I don't know, that's more of like I don't know.
It's more of a systemic issue than an NRL kind of issue. Yeah.
What can you do? It simply is what it is, you know? So unfortunate, but yeah.
Okay, so heading into this year, like what is the goal for you heading into this year, do you think? Is it to continue rounding out your game? What is it?
Yeah, I continue rounding out my game, of course.
Yep.
But I just think I just kind of want to have a bit more fun this year. I want to have a bit more fun playing the game and enjoy it a bit more. I don't think I really enjoyed it too much this year. Like, 'cause it was just too
injuries and that.
Oh, not just so much that, but it was just more focused on like, got to do this, got to win, got to have a good game. It was not as much like I should just be like, this is fun. Like, this is what I trained for. People come out, they pack out Brookie. Like, I should just be enjoying it. Yeah. And some games, like I was doing that, like I was doing like little celebrations and stuff like that. Like, because I was like, you know what, like, why not just have a bit of fun? Like, we don't have to be robots. Yeah, you know what I mean? You can be a bit animated and give the fans something to watch and that sort of stuff. That's just the stigma around NRL is like, just score your try, shake
put your head down, walk back.
You know what I mean? So I was just like, maybe it's time to just kind of spice it up a bit and have a bit of fun and not take it so serious. So I think that my number one goal is just going to be just to try and enjoy the game a bit more. Yeah. Because you know what happens when you enjoy playing, you play good.
Oh, 100%.
So that's my goal. That's my only goal, really.
You very rarely find an unhappy player in the best form of his life. It's usually a happy player is playing the best footy that he's played in a long time. Yeah. It's crazy how we still are kind of, a bit old school where we don't like okay with players celebrating. Like I feel like that's something that's like 10, 15 years old. That should be lost in the past. If a character wants to be a character, we should embrace it.
I'm going to definitely hit a few sellers this year.
Okay. I can't wait.
And stuff. I don't care.
Okay. I like it. Mad. You know what? At the end of the day, they're watching. Like, exactly. Whether they love you or hate you, at least they're watching.
100%.
At least they're watching. Favorite rapper of all time?
Or favorite rapper of all time? Bro, it's so funny. I had this conversation with my mate talking about who's like number one, and he's saying it's Tupac, and I'm saying it's not, and all this sort of stuff. It's just funny you asked that question. Rapper? Yeah. You said favorite rapper?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So not best rapper, favorite rapper.
Okay, we'll go best rapper and favorite rapper.
I would say like best rapper, like rapping as a genre and being lyricist. I would probably say like Nas.
Yep.
Probably has to be number one best rapper in my opinion.
Okay.
But it's I don't know. It's hard because it's hard to go like past like Tupac, and I guess in that generation, like
sometimes it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for like message and impact, you can't go past Tupac.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're looking for lyrics,
of course. So I guess it just depends. Like where the conversation depends. Like what you're talking about. Who's the best? rapper who's the best at rapping and best at putting play on like wordplay and being lyricist, or best on culture. Because if it's culture and it's influence, it's Tupac. Easily. You know, but
and it could be even who makes the best hip hop songs, like the best sound.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're talking about
Drake or something like. So it's a hard one, but yeah, my favorite rapper. Oh, it's hard. It's a hard one. Who's my favorite rapper, man? Honestly, I can't. Actually, it's hard. I don't have like one favorite.
He's the guy.
But I'll just say, I don't know. I don't know.
Go with Nas.
Just go with Nas. I think he's the best rapper of all time.
Okay, all right. Favorite movie of all time.
Favorite movie?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, probably Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious?
First one.
Are you still loving it this far in?
It's not necessarily the French, like the film saga.
Yeah.
But the Fast and the Furious, the first ever B grade.
Yeah.
Like no name Paul Walker, no name
Hectic. Vin Diesel.
Diesel. Yeah, that like I think I watched that like 4 nights ago. I reckon I've watched it at least, I don't know, upwards of like 70 times easily. I just love it. Like I know it word for word. I love cars and that, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So I just
What's your dream car?
My dream car, probably like a Porsche GT3 RS. It's probably up there. That's probably one car. Like if I had that car, I'd be like, oh yeah, like it's not really the car I want. So it's like a 911, like a yeah. Look it up. It's sick. It's probably one of the best. I reckon probably one of the best built cars, well-rounded cars.
Yep.
Ever made, in my opinion. Yeah.
Really?
Easily,
okay.
Yeah.
So Porsche
GT3 RS.
Porsche GT3 RS.
Yeah.
You're looking it up? Porsche GT3 RS?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out.
That would probably be, I have to say it, yeah, that'd probably be my dream car.
Bro, well, hopefully one day I'll see you driving it, brother.
Bro, one day.
Bro, thank you so much for coming on, bro. I really do appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.